Okay, so let me give you the quick overview, then I explain the details. This is what is happening. I'm moving the card from the back, all the way in the back, like in a space in this case, right in front of the ace. And this is what is going on. Okay, it's already right down there. And by the gestures, I just make it appear in the front. Now, the king of spades, the card all the way in the back, it has double-sided tape, about 1 centimeter, right in the center. So when this card goes in the front, I just push in the center and spread, and the ace of hearts is gonna get a stick right behind the king of spades in this case. Notice I have this little pack in mechanics grip, a thumb in the long side, and the middle ring and pinky finger in this other side, and the index right in the front. When I move my right hand and move it over here, as I will explain later on, I will move the index finger away from the side to the back. As soon as I move this hand over here, I put it behind, and I have the pinky break. I don't know if you notice in the performances, but when I show my empty hand, I already have the pinky finger separating the card that I want to move to the front. It can be 1, 2, up to 3 cards right in the front, okay? So when I do this, I move the index finger away, so I can take the card in the back and move it right below, okay? So you can have it right there, and then the gestures, okay? As I will explain next. Now when I move the index finger to the back, just the index and middle finger, those are only and main 2 fingers holding this card. The thumb is the entire time in the process of the movement, right before, in the middle, and right after. It always stays there, contacting this side the whole time. It's like a hinge, like a door hinge. All it's doing is this, but it's always touching, okay? Now the index finger, you move it to the back, hold it against the middle finger, but anyway the middle and pinky finger, they always remain right below, even though they ain't holding the card, or they are right on the side of the middle finger, and that's it, okay? That's all you need to do. The next step, notice this card has to be held up, but the remaining cards has to be right below this pack. Otherwise, let's assume this single card is all the way outside, then you will end up dropping this card because there is no support. And you also need the support to raise the card by closing just the fingers. You can expose the cards by the gestures I will explain next. Again, the pinky finger is right behind, separating the card right before I show my empty hand. I move the hand. Notice the middle finger is contacting the upper corner and the thumb right over here, all the way on top, not in the middle. Because you leave it about right here in the middle, by the time you try to slide the card towards the bottom, you will end up flashing this side or this side, and you want to completely conceal the move by moving the middle finger and the thumb all the way up here to the corner. You bend the index finger right in the front, and you proceed to the move as I explained, okay? Sliding the card from the back to the bottom. But keep in mind, the thumb has to remain there, contacting the pack. You never move the thumb away, before, in the middle, and after the switch. It's always there. Now, having said that, the left hand is doing this move, and the right hand is concealing right here in the front. 2 things about the angle. You have to be completely in 90-degree angle. You cannot be in about 80. It has to be a completely 90-degree or even further. But at least 90-degree angle works better. Otherwise, you will flash. It is angle sensitive, so you have to completely move away 90 degree, so you don't flash over here the fingers, as you can see in this area. So you move over here, and that's it. And when the spectator is watching, they're watching more towards the front in angle. They ain't watching completely straight as you are watching it. So they're watching more like that. So you also need to be careful about the angle, which I will explain that later. But notice the gesture, when a card is already right here, right below, okay, has to be at least 1 millimeter right below this stack. Doesn't have to be completely aligned. You can even leave it about just this corner or the opposite corner. Doesn't have to be this exaggerated, but at least you get the point. Just the edge, about 1 or 2 millimeters. So you can proceed to the gestures. Notice the first gesture that I did in the performance, when I have it over here, down here, my right hand, this hand, is still maintaining the exact same gesture. even though the card is already down here, I'm still keeping the exact same gesture. Then I had to give more room to this card, so I had to remove my hand a little bit away from the stack, because I don't want to leave the card just halfway out. It has to be out as much as you can. So if you don't reach, just move it to the front, even though you ain't touching the stack. Just move it like that, but maintain the same position, the same gesture, just maintain it. Then when you raise the card by closing the fingers, you can do this gesture, as you are changing the card with the tips of the fingers. Once again, like this. Alright, from here to here, you already have down there. Notice the gesture of this hand remains even after. Then when I'm about to raise this card by closing the fingers, I do this. That's it. Alright. Now the second and the third gestures, the technique is the same regarding the movement and the concealing action, except the gesture. You have it down here, as I explained. I move my hand, my right hand, away, and I open it. Then I raise it and then I close slowly. So you can expose that card immediately. Once again, I have it right here, right below. Raise the hand, I wave the fingers. That's the second gesture, and the third and the last gesture is the window change. You already have it down there, and all you have to do is just open the fingers, and when you open the fingers, you close this card by closing these fingers. Okay, once again. So you have to be completely in the front, not in angle as I'm showing, because it's easier for the spectator to see right on this edge. So you have to raise it at least straight up to the front, then go ahead straight like this with the hand open, and then you just open the fingers, and when you open the fingers, you raise the card immediately. Okay, you don't have to be completely fast to make it look visual. Okay, the first gesture, it even looks maybe better. Now it is imperative for you to keep second, third, and fourth finger close. Do not leave fingers separated. Do not leave windows like this. Try to maintain these fingers, middle ring and pinky finger, completely closed. And this movement, it just takes about a second, or even less, to move this card from the back to the bottom. Okay? So what happens when I'm on the streets, for example? I don't have my cards. When the spectator they want to see something, I always ask the spectator if they have credit cards. You can do this exact same routine using credit cards, but I only use about 2. So you want to use it with 4, you can use IDs and credit cards as long as they are the same size. So let's assume these 2 cards are credit cards from the spectator. So this is what I say. Which card do you want to be in the front? Let's say they want this card. Notice they are in the front, facing the front, then facing the back, so they don't think I'm flipping the cards. So the excuse is going to be a metamorphosis or a melting through one card over the other one. So I'll just go ahead and do the same move. Alright. So the spectator see how it is now in the front, the other one is in the back. It looks really nice. If they want to see it again, or they want to keep watching the same routine, the same technique, you can ask for 4 credit cards. And you can ask which one you like the most, the second, the third, or the fourth one. Let's say they want the second one. Well, let's say they want the third one, the 3 of spades. But let's assume they are credit cards. So I'm going to do the pinky break right above the 3 of spades. Okay. So instead of 1, I'm going to move these 3 cards exactly the same way as it is just 1. Okay. You see it right there? And go ahead and do the gestures, the one you like the most. So now the selected card, the credit card, is in the front. Now, I do not recommend you to do this as a pass using the whole deck of playing cards. It's not gonna look clean and it's gonna look messy. And one last thing before the recap. Let's say you have issues with the angles. You don't know how to calibrate. Maybe because the spectator is looking in 45-degree angle from the top to the bottom, you just tilt the hand. But how you can be more secure that you ain't gonna flash like this, for example, from below, how you can avoid that. A few techniques that people use is by imagining from the eyes of the spectator are coming lasers pointing towards the card. You don't even have to look at their faces. And I've been aware of some people using that technique. Just imagine that the eyes of the spectator, they're coming to lasers pointing to this stack. So you can manage and calibrate better how you can twist the wrist. You don't have to expose too much to the bottom. You don't have to cover too much neither. So that's going to be a good idea. So let me go very fast on the recap. Okay, I have it in mechanics grip. Notice I have the thumb right here, and the thumb is going to remain there before, in the middle, and after the change happened. I'm going to move the index finger away as soon as I bring the other hand I to explain the gesture. Middle finger all the way on top and thumb all the way up on top over here as well. From the other corner, I move the index finger to the back so I can hold the card with a middle finger mainly from the back to the bottom. Okay, the thumb is like a hinge, door hinge. It's going to stay there, just moving like this. So the next is this card. It has to be pinched by this stack about 1 or 2 millimeters. It can be about one corner. It doesn't have to be completely aligned. It can be even one corner. So you can close it. But it's better you leave at least the whole edge over here, right below this stack. And once you already have it over here, you just proceed to the gesture you prefer the most. Alright? And that's it. Middle and thumb over here. Slide the card to the bottom. Move yourself at least 90-degree angle. You can have people right in front or over there, but not over there. It has to be at least right behind you. One time I did it with 4 people. It was right in the front and all the way towards my back. But even though they can see a little bit, they probably don't say nothing. And that's it. Just keep practicing in front of the mirror until you get it done the way you like it. And that's it.